Boss battles in Halo have always felt just a little bit off because in some games they're some of the most remembered moments, for good or for bad, and others don't even have them at all. My name is Spencer, and today I wanted to talk about the history of Halo's boss fights and why they feel so special even though some of them are grossly overused. What Bungie loved best was innovation, so although their first entry didn't have any outside of some potentially cut enemies somewhere, its successor ramped up things significantly. Boss battles are one of the best elements of a story, being a conclusion to an arc or a chapter. In Halo 2, a game that pushed the boundaries of what it meant to be a video game in 2004, let's just say there are plenty, from the Heretic Leader to the Prophet of Regret to Tartarus. These elements are crucial to the story being told within the game or its specific levels, and with the longer mission structure the earlier games had, it really felt like you were wrapping up something significant. Each one had its little quirks, although they're not deep in design. Regrets' literal vehicle boarding to punch him in the face, but I can't help but smile playing these, even if Tartarus pisses me off to no end. But what makes them work is that they're fundamentally Halo. They use the sandbox, movement, asset reusal, verticality. These things we'll continue to see time and time again, but that may not come for a while. But with a new console came a new era, a new Halo, and Halo 3 stripped down the elements that made Halo 2 great to more of a compact story. Still good in the end, but that comes with the removal of boss fights, which seemed an almost staple in the previous game. The only two you could really maybe count are the Brute Chieftain, who challenges you to a 1v1 with this whole pack watching, or when you shoot a Spartan laser into Guilty Spark 3 times. They don't offer much in terms of substance, but still pretty cool nonetheless. But then you have something like the Scarab, which is a mini boss fight, but it does use the sandbox elements too masterfully, honestly. The first one is pure mongooses and rocket launchers, and the second one is a hornet. It makes you use the vehicles to actually figure out how to destroy this thing, even if it's fly to the back, shoot it, dead, done. Done. And now here's where we fall by the wayside. For almost a decade, Halo didn't have a proper boss battle. The Chieftain in ODST was a cutscene, the Zealots in Reach don't really get enough development to be counted, and although the Didact is screaming for a boss fight, all we get is press RT to fire a machine gun. Not gonna count it, which I hate because falling off of a light bridge was not what I had in mind for a character as menacing as the Didact. He doesn't even die and is brought back in a comic, but that's not for this video. This era of Halo is disappointing in the boss battle aspect because of how much the engine in the sandbox was pushed on something like the Xbox 360, and it only gets more complex from here. But first, we have to talk about the demon. The Warden Eternal sucks. I don't know how many times this piece of shit shows up, and he just ruins this campaign even more, which is a low bar, I give you, but that MFR clears it. As a one-time boss fight, fine. He's got ranged attacks, melee lunges, teleportation, it's fine, but this game treats him like he's a Dark Souls boss and forgets that this is Halo. You can't use vehicles outside of this one really easy one. You can't flank, your squad AI is too dumb to help. It's a classic example of a boss that doesn't fit the game he's in and becomes a full-blown bullet sponge to pad out the runtime. Halo 5 wanted to be Halo 2 in more ways than one with its campaign, but it failed on every aspect along the way. This is where the contrast really shows. Traditional boss design, huge health bars, basic attack patterns, nothing reactive, doesn't work in a game like Halo, at least not in its traditional presentation. It restricts what you can do, and a game built on player freedom, that's just bad design. Funny enough, the next boss is anything but traditional Halo gameplay. Decimus is cool. That is all. He shows up a bunch throughout the game, each time presenting something a little bit new. He's got great mechanics with the glassing beam, and although he's a bullet sponge, you do have to remember it's an RTS, so the rules are a little bit different. but him using the Halo Wars 2 sandbox with the engineers, the glassing beams, reinforcements, that's exactly what makes him work. Unlike ODST, where you're like watching a cutscene, Wars 2, you actually have to adapt to his sandbox and be reactive to when he puts down his bubble shield and starts to glass the area. And lastly, we have Halo Infinite, which I'd call a mixed bag, but it puts a full focus on the boss fight. Named enemies, health bars, unique weapons. It's a bold swing. And a mixed result, because some are really good, like the tower fight, the Invisible Elite, or Escharum, but others feel like they're there for either shock or to pad out the section a little bit longer. My mind goes to those two brutes. One of them has Spartan Locke's helmet on his shoulder. He does nothing, says nothing of substance, and is never brought up again. Cool. Thanks for 3 for the thrilling content. So while they were intentional with a ton of them, I'd say over half could have been cut, and we would have gotten the same experience. Now, the roaming boss fights are sweet. I got nothing but praise for them. It just felt overall like the game wanted to do more, and these bosses could and should have been more developed. Seriously, is Locke dead? Please God, tell me he is, please. I beg you. So after replaying a large majority of these boss fights, I've come to a conclusion. Halo has never quite known what to do with its boss fights, because it doesn't need them in the traditional sense. When it leans into the sandbox design, the heretic leader, or the invisible elite, the fight feels alive. When it forces traditional boss mechanics or relies on difficulty scale to turn them into bullet sponges like the 20 wardens we fight in Halo 5, it falls flat. Halo's strength is you, the player, the sandbox, using different aspects of what the game provides you to make your own way. So bosses in Halo shouldn't be about phases or health bars. They should be scenarios, tests of how well you understand the sandbox. And Halo's sandbox is its most important aspect. Its movement, its gameplay, its gunplay, everything about that made Halo so popular in the first place. So why can't we take that exact same methodology and apply it to Halo's boss fights? It feels like some of them have it, and some of them don't. But why can't we? Can you use your grapple shot, your enemy, your position, your knowledge of the enemy, your weapons to defeat them all at once while they do the same? And in all honesty, the only time I think they truly got it right was the first time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy what I do, maybe consider checking out some other stuff. Thank you so much.